Howdy, y'all. Today we're going to be exploring the effects of monetary policy on the economy, specifically looking at expansionary monetary policy and contractionary monetary policy. And what these two things do is they affect the money supply. So looking at expansionary monetary policy, so if we start with expansionary, that is when the government increases the money supply or creates an effort to increase the money supply. And this is typically in response to a recession where money supply is low and we want to put more money back into the economy so it can grow. So whenever we do that, we obviously have our liquidity preference model, and this is the supply of money, and this is the demand of money. And so what we want to do is we want to increase the supply of money so that way we have more, and our new point is down here where quantity has increased from the first quantity and the rate has decreased. The rate of borrowing has decreased. And what this is going to do, so supply of money is going to go up, and what that leads to is it leads to aggregate demand going up. And so we'll see from here down low on our aggregate demand and supply model is that we have short run aggregate supply and aggregate demand, and then long run aggregate supply. And so what aggregate demand do is it's going to increase, so this will go up, and then we'll have a new aggregate demand, a new equilibrium point that increases potential output in the economy, and that increases the price level in our economy. So in all in all, AD will increase, which will increase price level and increase output level. And then what else is what this will lead to is eventually after whatever happens, the short run aggregate supply will eventually bring prices back to equilibrium point. So then we'll see a price even raise higher, and then Y, our output, go back to its original point. So that's in the long run. Long run, eventually our prices will go back to where they are supposed to be. So that's kind of what happens there, the basics of expansionary monetary policy. Now we're going to look at the basics of contractionary monetary policy. So now we have contractionary monetary policy down here. And basically what that is it's decreasing the supply of money. And this is in response to maybe a massive economic boom, or it's typically not that. It's genuinely in response to reduce the price level because we have a high level inflation. Obviously, you never want to limit an economic boom, but if inflation is too high to where things are too expensive for an economy's GDP and for its consumers to handle, you want to do your best to decrease that inflation to make things affordable again. So what this is going to do is it's going to fight high inflation. And then this, obviously, expansionary is used to grow economy. So what we're going to do is obviously we have our supply of money up here, and we're going to decrease that. So what that does is that decreases our supply of money and brings our rates back up. So our quantity of money decreases. And what this is going to do is it's going to drop our supply of money, which will then lead to a drop in our aggregate demand. So it's the opposite of expansionary monetary policy. So we come down here to our demand model and our short run aggregate supply. And this is going to drop demand. It's going to drop demand, which will then lead to a lower potential output and a lower price level. So I have a new low equilibrium point, And then eventually, in the long run, obviously, supply will then increase us back to our long run regular output. But in turn, that will lower the price level some more. So in the short run, which is what we're focused on, aggregate demand will drop, which will drop output, which will then drop price level. And in the long run, our supply will even out, which will bring us back to our equilibrium output, but at a lower price level, therefore making things more affordable for people, which sets us up for better economic growth in the future. Now we're going to talk about other things that just kind of affect expansionary policy and monetary policy. So if discount rates go up, that means reserves go up. So discount rates go up, that means reserves go up, which means supply of money goes down. So that is a form of contractionary monetary policy. So whenever governments need to make things more expensive, they'll increase their discount rates and increase their reserves, which is therefore going to make supply of money go down, which will help with that high inflation. And then say the opposite, discount rates decrease. That's going to make our reserves drop, which will increase supply of money. So that's a common form of expansionary policy. So all in all, contractionary money is decreasing our supply of money, which is going to decrease our demand, which eventually will decrease our price level, so making things more affordable again. And then after a recession, if we want to grow our economy, governments will do expansionary policy, so increasing that supply of money, and then which will increase demand, increase price, and increase output. So it's a big chain effect on all these. So now we're moving into the table below. Indicate what type of monetary policy should the Federal Reserve apply and how it should use tools of the monetary policy. So recession, obviously we want expansionary. And then for a boom, we want contractionary. So the effect on our ADAS model with expansionary, aggregate demand is going to go up, and then aggregate demand is going to go down for contractionary. Our discount rate and Fed loan facilities for expansionary are going to go up for contractionary, and then down for expansionary. And the purchase of bonds in the market. So our government, whenever they buy bonds, the supply of money goes up. So they're buying from the open market operations, from the public. So therefore, our money supply is going to go up because we're buying bonds. And then in contractionary, we're selling bonds and decreasing our money supply that we already have. So therefore, the purchases of bonds would be going down. And then interest paid on reserves, that would be going down for recession and then be going up for a boom. That's the economic effects of monetary policy from the liquidity preference model and the supply of money to the aggregate demand and short and long run aggregate supply models. Thank you so much.